why bother? There's nothing you can do about it after they've been paid.
To respond to that, as long as I've been on the board, that's been practice.
That doesn't make it good. I mean, how would you know? Is there a PO system?
Dan, would you like to talk to the?
Yes, there is a PO system through our financial software.
And so every bill that is submitted has a PO, accompanying PO.
Yes, well, not every bill, but there is a PO process where employees or secretaries may enter that in, and then there needs to be approval by administration. And then that process at the end of the month then goes to the board for a second approval, I guess.
Aren't they already paid when they go to the board?
Yes,
How are you gonna unpay a bill?
if there was an issue, then we would contact the company and work it out with them. We have very good relationships with.
I'm not giving a refund. I get the check, I cash it, it's done.
Yeah, once you've paid it,
You know,
kind of the
unless you wanna
horse is
settle
out
in
of the
court.
barn.
I can tell you that this is the way that every school district does everything.
Is it a good way to control management of money?
I guess that's your opinion.
I'm asking, I'm not like stating an
Yeah,
opinion.
no, we don't wanna argue.
Yeah.
That was just it.
Some bills, I think, we pay bills, not we pay it by the 10th, some by the 20th. There's some bills that have to be paid early, some have to be late. And I guess that's just the way it is. I agree with you, I'm on the town board, and the bills are all made out, and we approve them when we have our meeting.
Yeah, that's right, that's the way
But
most
we only
everything
have
works.
maybe 10, 15 bills.
I don't know, I used to go to the Iola school board meetings, and they never paid a bill until it was approved.
Yeah, but
I
some,
recall Iowa.
some of them,
Oh,
you have to, like I said, they have to be paid by the 10th, you get discounts on some things. So I mean,
There's a few
it's
bills
I know it's not a good way, but that's,
there-
So-
you have any,
there are a few
I
bills
mean,
that,
what else are you gonna do?
You know, I don't know, it was just when I look at it, it's like, here's all these bills, there's some for water treatment, there's some for, there's a lot of bills out there. And it's like, who's checking this?
I will call Iowa school board.
The bills themselves that come in through expenses incurred by the district are, the vast majority of them are built within the budgeting process. And if they're not built within the budgeting process, they're built within the departmental budget as a potential expense that could come up throughout the year. An example, let's say fuel, okay, for buses. We anticipate X amount of dollars for fuel in the 12-month period. That fuel bill varies from month to month depending on usage and need and how often we're running certain vehicles. Now, when the board approves the budget at the annual meeting, it's approving a grand total number, which is designated out to support the expenses that will be coming in throughout the year. So, in essence, the bills have been approved through the annual budget, but your point is well taken in the sense that we're billing or receiving bills throughout the year that may be unexpected or not known depending on circumstances that come in. But typically, those bills are paid with expenses out of overall budgeted materials directed towards that purpose. This last week, we replaced the water heater in the high school. Okay, it was a bill with an unexpected cost. Within the maintenance budget, there's X amount of dollars to support that function and action. That's how the water heater will be paid for. That's just an example. I know Mr. Storch, myself, building level principals are empowered to use best judgment. We know our active accounts and the total amount of funds that are established district-wide. And if we are running in the red or near running the red, some hard conversations need to take place as to why, what, and where are we going, and to adjust that if needed. Sometimes there's rhyme or reason that goes with that.
Does anybody get together when they come in and question them? Do you do the math?
I don't know what you mean by questioning or doing the math. Can you explain yourself better?
I can, yes. Last year, City of Weyauwega had a bill come in, they sat there, did the math on the bill, added, it was for a truck. They did the math, they added, subtracted, and found out that the bill had been calculated incorrectly. So I'm wondering how are you doing this? Because we don't see it with the school board. The school board is not going over these There are no questions here on any of the bills, very few. So I'm wondering, where are you going with this? I mean, how are you just paying them, or is there some process by which you're really looking at them to make sure that they're added correctly, that you're taking the correct, if it's a net 1030, you're getting those deductions, or net 102, that those deductions are coming off the bills, and that you make sure that you get them? I mean, is that happening?
That's,
That's why we have our financial advisor down there, our business manager, that's his job.
And you know, and I wanna say too, maybe I'm naive, but I just assumed that that was Dan's job. He's the person who needs to look over these things, make sure it fits under the budget, that it's within the, you know, constraints that we've set up with the budget and everything like that. To me, for us to verify every single thing seems to be micromanaging and beyond the scope of what we're supposed to be doing here.
Should that option not be open though?
I think, well, I
I mean,
think
he
that's
should
why
be,
it's
that's his
here.
job. I would agree with what you're saying. That's his job.
I don't wanna get into an argument about this. All I'm saying is that, and that's why I said, maybe I'm naive, but that's what I believe our job was to do. And when they're presented, when the bills are presented to us, then I think we have every right to question and look into things.
If you want some examples, 4 years ago when we did the track, the first bid came in over $600,000, and Mr. Loehrke and I were not in agreement with that, and we went out and did our own and did extensive research on that, and we got the track for half price.
But it wasn't paid for already.
When we did the, no, it wasn't, but
No.
we checked into it. I mean, we're doing our homework on items also. It's not that we're just sitting up here. And we have all the bills that are in our financial report. We go over them. If we have any questions, we can come into the administration and ask them on the issue. So I don't.
And you know, and Scott sends a memo every week, and last week he did send a memo talking about the water heater and, you know, giving us a heads up, or actually a couple weeks ago saying, you know, whatever timing it was, you know, saying that there was an issue and this is probably coming up and whatever, so he gave us a heads up of, you know, something that was additional and unexpected, so.
And then the bills are audited every year also. Am I right?
Right.
You have any
So,
suggestions?
so there are I know myself, when I go through the board book, if there's questions, I contact Scott and Dan, and get them answered. If I'm not in agreement
But
with
by
it,
the time
then
you
bring it
get
up
the
to
board book, they've already been paid.
Yes.
It would be easier to discuss if we could use current examples, but board books aren't available online, so it's kind of hard to have a meaningful conversation.
No, they are not online.
They
I
are
looked
on the board
tonight.
books?
They're late. I looked for tonight's, it isn't on there.
It should be on there, I put it on there.
It's not,
It's not.
Trying to look over it.
No, I started a couple of days ago
I
looking
put
for.
it on there, when did I post? I send them out on Wednesday, either Wednesday night or Thursday, unless something happened, it's not on there.
No,
And then wouldn't it be in both libraries? Did you check the library?
no.
Because you
Yeah.
send them to the library?
Yep.
If there's a routine, it'd be nice to follow that routine. though.
It should actually be on the website. I apologize, I do that usually right away. It gets put
Okay.
on the website,
If
so.
it's there, then that's
Yeah.
fine. But when you get them, by the time you get them, the bills are already paid, so
Correct.
it's already
Right.
water under the bridge, okay?
So in other words, your approval is a formality, not an actual approval.
Well, we discussed this, I remember a few years ago, and Dan's like, well, if the push comes to shove and the board doesn't agree with the bill that's been paid, then we contact that company, wherever it was, and come up with a, plan from there, so.
But I remember you bringing it up this summer since I've been on the board, you discussed this, about how, why are we approving bills that have already been paid, so I know that we've discussed this just in the last 6 months, so.
Since I've been on the board, there was one evening in which the bills were not approved, and there was no results. Nothing changed. It was board action that did not approve the bills,
And to me, that's not.
and
one.
nothing
What do you
changed.
mean, nothing changed?
All the bills got paid, nothing got discussed, nothing got undone, nothing, in other words, the board did not approve.
Did they not approve, I'm just curious, was it because they?
It had to do with the attorney bills.
Oh.
The attorney bills were too high, and the board did not approve the bills. And the attorney bills got paid, and so did everybody else. So there was no undoing of things because they weren't approved. The other comment I have is I always hear that it's in the budget, and you approve all the bills when you approve the budget. What happens in my worry is it's a priority issues. If it's approved in a budget, there are people that have the choice on who they pay, whether it's their friends, and cronyism, or not, and if they run out of money, then they start worrying about it. But as long as there's enough money for everything, everybody gets paid, and they can choose whether it's their friends or not, and whether that's their
Are
kids.
we accusing somebody of something with that statement?
I could make some for instance.
Are we accusing somebody sitting here on the board of cronyism and paying friends and not paying the bill?
I think there's some examples.
So are you also accusing?
I'm not
Or are
accusing
you
anybody. I'm just looking
Wait
at
a minute,
this.
could I finish my question? Or are you just asking questions?
I'm just asking the question because,
It's just not
in
right.
my life working and
Yeah, and
covering
I will-
boards and stuff, this is very strange to me,
I
to
will
my way
call
of thinking.
Iowa next week or.
You can, ask them and see if they, but I would think
I
for good
definitely will call
stewardship.
Iowa.
I mean, it's stewardship. You don't,
And to that point too, there are many districts, some in this area, that approve all the bills, all the money that comes in, the minutes and everything on consent agenda, where they get a chance to look at it, and it comes here, and a motion is made, seconded, and that's it, like the hires and resignations. Some districts do it that way as well.
which is fine, and I serve on a
But they're
number
still
of
paying.
boards.
That's not a
They're
good
still
thing.
paying.
But it's not a good thing, but the
That's
thing
not
is,
legal, but-
we want to see, we live in a country right now where we are just rubber stamping a lot of stuff. You are the board, you represent us, you run this school district, you do. And you are the only people that are protecting us and making sure that their job is easier. And if you're not looking at this, if you're not paying attention, then that is not a good thing. We need you to be looking at what's going to see. Did that vendor take off the 10% that he's supposed to? I don't doubt that you're not doing it, but you need second eyes. I don't know any place that does it with one guy. You need more people looking at it, and that's your job.
Well, I will say that it certainly is a team effort in the district. We have an accounts payable person who reviews all the bills that come in, and her job, then that's the first line of defense. And she would contact the company, if she notices anything. For example, we're tax exempt, some places, sometimes we get charged tax,
Mhm.
And we gotta call them and get the bill adjusted. Then they go to me, and, if it's a building level expense, that would go to our principal, and then I approve them as they go, and then the board sees them. So there are a number of eyes, and it is a team effort, and I respectfully disagree that they're the only ones that are jobs that protect your money, because I believe that my job is to protect the taxpayer money.
Yours is, but by law, by the state of Wisconsin, they're the ones.
You ever look at the bills?
Yeah, I have.
They're pretty,
I know they're expensive.
we do the same thing.
I get it.
The same thing. I mean, we have a, what, $5,000-$10,000 limit?
Notification process, or notification and or
Big-
seal bid, right?
Big ticket items, so I mean, we can't sit here and micromanage every little bill.
But leave the option open.
Wow.
If it were your checkbook, wouldn't you watch over it? Micromanagement, as you call it that? Wouldn't you wanna know where your money went?
It's a big ticket item and we have a question on it. Yeah, we do have. I sat here for 4 years and we had $10,000 a year month lawyer bill. I voted no every time.
Because they've already been paid.
Oh, yeah, but I was one person on the board too. So,
Then maybe the rest of the board needs to look at that too.
well, we don't have that issue anymore. But I mean, that's one of the issues, if you don't agree with it, you vote no on it. I mean, we can't sit here and go through.
And it's not even always big tickets. Sometimes
No.
something might come in for 150, not that it's not a significant amount, they all add up. But somebody might have a question on something for a $150 bill that gets questioned saying, is this right? What did it go for? And why?
And a lot of times, there's minus 730 minus 600, so that got taken, it was put in, but then it got taken off. You know? So I mean, do you have a better solution? I don't know.
Probably go to the school district, see if they do things.
I mean,
the
a lot of
solution that
schools-
we're offering to the table, to the board, is to approve them prior to payment.
Well, for one thing, you'd have to have more meetings,
You'd
because
have to
you have
have
to
another-
pay things on time.
Yeah. To get your
I was a
discount.
service provider for several counties, and I could wait up to 60 to 90 days for
Well,
payment.
our milk,
I mean,
isn't milk on, what's that, twice a month? They have to be paid twice a month.
Well, there's some bills that we have that are automatically deducted
Deducted.
from our account that, that we reconcile at the end of the month that, and if there's an issue, then, we work it out with them and then there's maybe a price for next month and that's just,
You have bills that are automatically deducted?
I've got bills that are automatically deducted too.
At your house?
Yeah.
Of course.
In your business?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I mean, now they got them scanners, they come to take your check or whatever, and it's done. I've got a lot of bills, I got four.
Rachel?
Okay, I just wanna say, a little bit, the only outlet the public has is to talk to the board members. So I guess when we come here with concerns, we're not coming here to argue, we're coming because you represent us, and that's kind of the order of, we have to go to you to ask questions. So, my first comment is on new business 10E, board policy number 300, which has to do with creating a policy for the band rental. My request is that you do not create a policy for that unless you create a policy for, there was something in the board book about tech ed costs, any fees. So I guess my question is, why just band? Why are you creating a policy just for band? I've asked this question before, and I guess maybe I can get the answer tonight, is there was a full-time science teacher and an English teacher that were cut last year and not replaced this year. Was the board aware of this before I questioned it a few months ago? If not, why not? And can anybody answer why we didn't replace a science teacher and are sending the kids to Opapa? Can anybody answer that?
I believe we were aware that the science teacher was being. I have to listen to the tapes.
I think it has to do with priorities based on budget. Someone says it's in the budget, it's not in the budget, and if the money that's in the budget is this big a circle, and we have to prioritize, someone other than the board prioritized not replacing the science teacher.
But isn't that your job? To
I
set
think
the
we would-
priorities?
I think we would need to be in a decision-making position. That someone would have to come to the board and say, we are or we are not, what are your thoughts? Or it could happen that says, by the way, we're not replacing it because it's in the budget, or not in the budget. So we weren't, I don't believe the board was put into a decision-making position.
Have you ever read our board policy book?
Yes.
What the-
And also the Wisconsin statute.
What the board does,
Yes,
what their jobs are.
yes. And so far, that last statement does not fulfill it.
We don't hire, we can't hire and fire people.
No, but you're the steward. It's your job. Policy 111. It's your job. Why aren't you doing this?
I'm sorry you're disappointed in us. We're doing the best job we
I
can.
know you are. I'm just saying, I have read your policies.
Okay, well, can I finish? Okay, so, I guess the concern is the public, and this isn't just me, but I will speak as just me, as just my opinion, so I'm not accused of attacking anybody, is that I think the public is losing some trust in the school board because you're not putting, from your actions, you're not putting education first. And some of that has to do with the fitness center. That loss of trust was highlighted to me in that last meeting when it was clear that only one person on the board questioned the value of that equipment that you were gonna discuss. question is, why didn't anybody else on the board look into the value of that fitness equipment?
Could I answer that? I did. I
Okay.
called the man you talked to, who said he never talked to you, that you talked to Neil. You'll have to clarify that, they told me.
Okay.
He said, I did not talk to Rachel, he said, I talked to Neil. He said, when I was given the information, I wasn't told how old it was, or how new I was, and I was just giving a statement off the hand. I called him the next day, and that's what I was told, so he did follow up on that.
Okay, well, I definitely talked to Wayne, but
Well,
he
Wayne
doesn't
did
wanna
not
get.
remember you.
That's fine. He doesn't wanna, he's concerned that someone's gonna get in trouble based on how far this goes. Whether it's legally, that somebody is handing out information to the school board that's not based on facts.
Well, I'm sorry, he told me he did not talk
Okay,
to you,
so
so he obviously lied.
If Wayne is questioning that he didn't know how old the equipment was and knew anything about it, and just gave a price, is it okay for the school board to take that price?
I
Without
didn't
doing
take a
any
pri- we-
research of their
We
own?
did not take a price.
But you were considering taking the price based on a motion prepared by Mr. Bleck to accept it at $59,000. So I guess I question, why now are you asking other citizens to bring forward their information? Why is the board not asking administration to do that? It's not a secret, the value of used equipment, so I guess I question that, and I still wonder, why is the district paying a booster club bill? Why is that okay? Nobody can answer it except to sit and somehow make us feel bad that we are doing something wrong.
I feel bad a lot too, because a lot of comments are made very negative towards us, or cronyism and comments like that, I think are very, very sad.
So my question is,
Very
why is
hard to
the
come here.
board, why is the district paying booster club bills?
I didn't know where you were.
Can I
Thank you,
address that?
Scott.
Okay, I think you're referencing the,
$250.
yeah, the $250 for the layout design of the potential fitness center. Okay, long before the Booster Club ever got involved with this conceptual idea or the process of enhancing our potential, and I use this word potential because that's all this is potential. This isn't even on the agenda, nor is it a topic of question or concern today, but we'll entertain it. Okay, so long before the Booster Club ever stepped up to the plate with their concern about enhancing or creating a new fitness center, there were individuals within our district that collectively talked, say, how can we improve that part of our school? Yes, people that were directly involved with working with students, not only in physical education, but in different activity classes and our co-curriculars. What can we do to improve it? I actually met with the group, and I said, what are your ideas? What can we do? You know, do we build something new? Do we remodel something within? What are some options that we can look like, okay, or potentially look at? So fast forward to the summer prior to the Booster Club stepping forward, and they had an interest of moving this forward, and they said, we would like to get some plans built up, and I said, great. As a team, internally, we met with several people that would like to do the same thing to get a layout of what potentially we could utilize in-house someday if our district ever moves forward. Those documents are the district's. One of the concepts was to look at the existing IMC in the high school, which is now a study hall area. The approximate square footage could potentially house a fitness type center. It would be an internal configuration, and the model which was developed through Bigger, Faster, Stronger would fit within there. Not the auxiliary room, but the general workout area. So to me, to the district, that's a valued piece of equipment that we could have potentially used, saying that fitness never materializes out. It's a piece of documentation that we can use. If we create a space and we feel that, hey, this is the space we want to do it, we can use that information to create the environment which would best suit our potential needs. So that's the purpose of the bill that was paid by the district and the intent behind it, noting that ultimately, whether it's built or not built, that document could support the creation of an upgrade within our district. I hope that addresses your question.
Was it not a 3D rendering on top of the 2D rendering exclusively for the new addition?
And you send a booster club pamphlet?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
I-
so now you're trying to tell me that it was for the library. I'm gonna say it as nice as I can. That's BS.
I think we did not.
Well, and since it's not on the agenda, the fitness center, because now that they've turned in policy 665, and if you read that policy, now everything's being done out of the eye of the public, and we don't know what's going on.
Mrs.
So-
Loehrke, nothing's being done with that policy, or the, excuse me.
But if you read the
this-
policy,
if I could
everything is
interrupt.
done behind closed doors
There's nothing going on with it. The matching funds request has come in, it's sitting on my desk. I talked to Mr. Cullen a week or two ago, and I said, Jim, your request is sitting on the desk until the potential long-range facility study is complete, okay? If that moves forward, okay, and we identify our current conditions of our district, you know, not only a potential fitness area, but, you know, language arts and science and tech ed and so on and so forth. If something comes forward to say that, hey, here's a deficiency that we need to be looking at, we may not be able to support that potential matching funds because we have dire needs greater than what is established, what they're bringing forward. Okay, I think it would be putting the cart in front of the horse if we were to bring forward a matching funds policy for a fitness center, knowing that we have a potential facilities planning process taking place. I think it's
Yet it
just-
would have been built by now if they had met their goals. So it doesn't make sense. to
You know,
me.
you guys didn't even know what the cost of the building was. Nobody's done any research. You just kind of.
Can I speak in regard to the fitness equipment?
We're gonna put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
Meeting, so, I think I'll start soon.
Mr. Loehrke, I don't appreciate your comments to me saying that I'm full of BS. I just want to clear that out. No, that's fine. I think we'll end it with that. Respectfully, I don't appreciate being involved in stating that my comments were BS. I am a man of integrity.
It's a way of
I am-
covering your
just let me
tracks.
finish. I am a man of integrity, okay? I am a man of doing the right thing for children and defending children and creating environments to the best of my ability. And in a public forum, and stating that a statement of mine is BS, I feel is inappropriate and not warranted in this environment. Your boardmanship was lacking.
And if you think you can convince me that when you pay a $250 bill for the Booster Club to put a 3D overlay on a 2D drawing and now plans for the library, I will say it again, you're covering your tracks.
All right,
Wow.
Okay?
moving. John?
I just was trying to read through policy. Is it correct, I assume that you're not allowed to speak to something that isn't already on the agenda? I don't
You
see
are
that
correct.
in here.
It was a question by a visitor, so we're trying to address that
Oh, okay, okay.
question.
But that, it doesn't say that in the rules though, does it? That we can't address an issue that's not on the agenda?
You can ask a question.
Okay, okay, okay. So just two things. First, goes back a year ago relative to safety in the school system. For your information as a board, I have requested conversation with the two counselors in the school to visit about school safety from a compassion standpoint. And copied the administrator as well as the high school principal. That meeting will take place very shortly. I hope to see that on the school board agenda in regard to what's been done relative to school safety. So often we wait till a crisis to address issues. Just like to, as a citizen and grandparent, be assured that some action was taken from something that was discussed a year ago. Second, would like to reiterate point made at the last school board meeting relative to entrusting in all of you this decision relative to the fitness center. After leaving the meeting, very concerned because there was evidently no indication that there was any capital budget or operating budget or any sort of business plan that we done. I would encourage you not to consider or entertain this subject or let anyone from school administration or staff participate in such a venture until you see something professional here. I did approach the Booster Club in terms of a business plan. I've got no response back from them in terms of offering to do that, yes for a fee, but I sent them a 2-page outline of proposed them. They're sure welcome to go get that done from someone else, but I strongly encourage you not to entertain this subject of a near $1 million adventure, or at least the operating cost of that, without having something more professional than what I've seen and heard for this thing. Thank you.
Just to highlight my administrative report, I commented on recent legislation passed by Governor Walker to increase the science requirements in math and in science. Currently, our district has 3 credits of math required through board policy, and as recommended coming down the pike just a few meetings ago, we made the effort to increase our science requirements. Not necessarily credit, but now that will work nicely in our increasing of science credits with the 2 classes that were recognized through the class identification process, earth science and science issues. So that'll be a nice fit to accommodate that piece of the puzzle as we move forward with that. Secondly, just to give a brief update from our strategic planning session that we had on December 18th last week. We had an action team meeting in the IMC where we broke out our action teams addressing the 6 questions. There was a nice turnout of interest for each question. Now it's to the point where we're going to identify goals within each question and come up with potential actions to address that question, to solve the questions. The timeline is that each group will meet twice in the month of January to further expand on their topic investigation, and then move into the month of February as well to continue exploration. The next formal presentation to the board will take place at the April board meeting, where we'll have an update of our 6 strategic questions and the actions that are taking place currently to address them. That's all I have.
My board report addresses numerous meetings and programs I've attended over the course of the last several weeks. I've found it in my role that I should attend as many, if not all, events that take place within the school, from various choir and band performances over the last several weeks to various other things responsible to me as a principal with my principal building administrators program, in which focus this month on budgeting, handbook, and key staff issues dealing with hirings and so forth. Ms. Martin and I briefly met to talk about our role in our strategic planning part, and we also had a Fox Valley Technical College site visit for our Cascade facility. They're doing a study as our facility that they use here. The equipment is outdated, and they've been going around to all the schools that have Cascade facilities looking at upgrading those facilities. The second week, again, numerous choir and band performances. Met with Lynn Ponto and Mike Hansen to further discuss the new science courses rolling out and how they can plan accordingly for textbooks and budgeting. I went to CESA 6 for the calibration training, which is required. All administrators have to go through that in order to properly evaluate our teaching staff, which we've been doing all year long. So I spent the day at CESA 6 doing that, and the CWC principals meeting also last week. I was at Wittenberg. Saw an interesting program that Wittenberg High School does with a data wall, and I'm going to bring that back and talk with Candy about that and see if that's something we can possibly look at. We do pretty much the same kind of thing. It's just how it's laid out. I thought it was really interesting. Other than that, just continuing on with a lot of work over the break and then preparing for the start of the spring semester.
And the elementary school, excuse me. Good man. The Weyauwega Fremont students have this past month donated money this season to purchase fleece. And then on last Monday, under the guidance of some of our parents and the teachers, the students made blankets for individuals in the community who may require some extra warmth this winter. Community service project. Along the same vein, all Weyauwega elementary 3rd graders chose to donate non-perishable food items to the food pantry instead of exchanging any holiday gifts or anything from the classroom. The student council at both Weyauwega and Fremont rolled out a student of the month program, which will highlight character traits every month, and will help recognize students for their good deeds within the building. Weyauwega and Fremont elementary schools perform winter concerts to 3 packed and appreciative houses. The Weyauwega Elementary performances were on Tuesday at 12:30 and 2 in the gymnasium in the elementary school. Fremont's were on Monday at 2 o'clock. They have one there. Mrs. Karwicki and our elementary students worked hard to present these programs and enjoyed seeing parents, grandparents, family, and friends, as well as the community at large at their performances. Both schools experienced overflow crowds armed with digital recording devices and digital imaging devices to capture many treasured moments. And a great big thank you to the students and Mrs. Karwicki for their inspirational entertainment. Also, I'd like to just give a bit of a shout out to Carrie Gruman in the high school choir, who sang holiday songs for our students during lunch on Friday. That had been their 4th hour, and it just worked out well that they could come and sing on stage while our students. So it's kind of a dinner theater situation for our elementary kids. Also, I don't have it in here, but a little bit later, Mr. Schmidt and members of his brass section came to the elementary school in Weyauwega and Fremont and performed Christmas songs. Students enjoyed listening to the low brass instruments and said kids automatically began singing along with the different numbers, which was kind of fun, and clapping along with everyone. They were outstanding, and the students really enjoyed the performances, so thanks to those high school students. It's one thing, little kids are always look up to those high school kids, so that's kind of a nice thing. I'm sure they probably recognize either relatives or neighbors or friends. Our winter NW, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but I will. The NWEA assessment will be in January, our second round of that, and the information gained from that will help us decide on programming for students in the second semester. Mr. Van Newland and Mrs. Foster and the Fremont Elementary received obviously the Fremont Elementary school received a Milk Marketing Board and NFL Fuel Up to Play 60 grant, but they were the two staff members who really were out front on that. There's a $1,000 grant that they will use. It kind of escapes me. There was one program that apparently some constraints have kind of made it go by the wayside, and I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, they want to be able to bring that back, and they had some monies that they wanted to use for another endeavor. Mrs. Sullivan, a first grade teacher at Weyauwega, just wanted me to report to the board that the students are enjoying the enriching learning opportunities that the classroom set of iPads are bringing. And like other staff in the elementary, it's kind of funny and interesting how this kids figure out this technology and they use it for their benefit, and the teachers are doing likewise. I was in the room, as an elementary principal, it's great to go in a classroom because the kids just love seeing you, and there's so many things they want to tell you, and sometimes you feel like you're being a disruption, but it's just fun to go in there. But the other day when I went into Mrs. Sullivan's room, they kind of gave me a cursory eye, and they were right back to their work, so you certainly know they're very much engaged, which is good. I'm coming around to the end here. Mr. Schrader and I were able to come to the step reception that was in here. That's for our senior citizens who perform valuable duties working with and tutoring students in the district. Mrs. Ryman runs that. They have a nice program here. And so we're able to tell those folks thank you for all that they do in the district. The Fremont Drama Club had the play North Pole Exposure that was performed twice on Thursday, the 12th of December in the Fremont Gymnasium. 22 students from the drama club, and they do this on their own time after school, representing the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades, perform songs and dance as well as twirled and amused two packed houses. The students met every Tuesday night from 3 to 4:30 and are under the direction of Mr. Van Newland, Mrs. Tim, and Mrs. Grower. And if anybody saw that, it was a great performance. just the choreography, and, I mean, there was no break in the action. It was just constant entertainment. They did just an absolute marvelous job. And I guess that's about it. So.
My board report this month is to highlight the school counseling program, both at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. So I know in just a bit here, we have the guidance counselors on here to present, so I'm gonna let their presentation stand as my monthly board report.
Just a few items, and then we can get rolling here. At your station, you should have found a bound copy of the audit report that we talked about at the last meeting. Wanted to give you that for your reference. We peruse that, and if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. In the board packet, the medical and dental summaries, I just wanted to touch on those slightly. The medical performance seems to be in line with what we had last year. Right in the ballpark. The dental seems to be lagging behind, and I will be following up with consultants at AFG and see if there's anything we can do to right that ship. And a little bit later, we'll be hearing from Ryan Hale from Great Home Consulting. He will be talking about the performance of our post-employment benefit trust and talking about our investment strategy as we move forward. That'll happen in just a little while.
5C, Board of Education.
I went to the elementary drama, it was excellent, and the Christmas program, and I also went to the STEP program, and those people are amazing. They really are, and they were so complimentary to the teachers and to the staff. So, and the kids, they love being with the kids. In fact, I can't remember who the person was, can't we increase it? There's so many people are asked if they don't follow through, so it was excellent. One gentleman said he doesn't know what he'd do 2 days of the week if he didn't come here. So it was really excellent. Enjoyed it all. Thank you.
I attended as well.
On my Friday mornings when I'm volunteering at the school, both in the newspaper and Mr. Loehrke explained to the student of the month thing. And I thought that was nice, thank you. And it's good to see administration at many of the after-school activities. Thanks.
5D, recognition and special guests.
As Candy had alluded to in her board report, we have our guidance department this evening that will present information on the comprehensive guidance school model. I believe they have their handout.
Yes, the school board should have just received a copy of our short PowerPoint that we put together, just so you don't have to turn it
We'll
over.
put the
It's up in your agenda.
You introduce yourself.
Yep, that's part of the PowerPoint. You're ahead of me. So efficient.
Okay.
That's not the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, there we
How
go.
about that one?
We are the school counseling department for Weyauwega Fremont schools, and we're going to be sharing a pretty brief overview of programming, just so you can get an idea of kind of what our role is at the school district level. I'm Ellen Stork. I'm the pre-K through 8th grade school counselor, and I work at Fremont Elementary School, Weyauwega Elementary School, and the middle school. My office is housed here, and then I use the speech and language space when I'm at Fremont on Wednesdays.
And I'm Joanne Miller. I'm the high school guidance counselor, and I am located in the high school office, not too far from Jeremy Schreider's office.
This is my 3rd year at Weyauwega Fremont Schools. Prior to that, I worked for 7 years in the private school sector and also at a public school as a high school counselor. So I'm just wrapping up 10 years as a school counselor.
And I have a little bit of a unique situation. I've been a counselor for 6 years, I believe it is now. And I started out in internship in Menominee Falls and went to Nakusa, and then I came to Weyauwega Fremont. And then I took 8 years off to stay home with my kids, and now this is my
Weyauwega Fremont School Counseling Program is based upon the following. So just to let you know, we didn't come up with it ourselves. We're actually following national and Wisconsin models. So we are following national school counseling standards, namely the American School Counselor Association that put out a national model, and the state of Wisconsin adapted and adopted that to fit Wisconsin standards. So we're following the WCSC model for Weyauwega Fremont schools. The purpose of the school counseling program is to deliver knowledge and skill building to all students. You'll find that Joanne and I, we work to serve everyone, not just kids that ask or need help. Our goal is really for all students to know each one of us, for us to know each one of them personally as well. We're looking for students to experience success in the following areas: academic, career, and personal social.
Okay, and then the goal of a school counseling program is, like Ellen said, to help all students, and how that looks, between our two different buildings. We're helping them learn about themselves and also learning about the world around them. And to do that, we're able to make connections between the two of them.
Counseling programs are for all students, like we've said already. They're driven by curriculum, research-based curriculum. They're planned. They're preventative in nature. They're comprehensive. And they're standards-based.
Okay, and then the school counseling program outcomes that we're looking for is to increase the student achievement at all grade levels, increase standardized test scores, increase knowledge acquired by the students, increasing the positive attitude towards school, ensuring that students are selecting rigorous coursework, increasing the collaboration between parents, community, and the school, increasing the post-secondary school enrollments, and there is a little bit of a typo. We're not really wanting to increase inappropriate behaviors. We'd like to increase the appropriate behaviors, and much, much more.
School counseling programs are divided into 4 main components, and the one at Weyauwega Fremont is as well. There is guidance curriculum, and that's typically whole group delivery, individual planning, which we do one-on-one or in small groups with students, responsive services, and system support. The components depend varying on developmental levels. For example, a career lesson that I teach to a first grade classroom might be very different than what Joanne would teach to a 10th grade classroom. So it depends on the developmental level of the exposure that students are getting. Under the first component, which was guidance curriculum, we're covering things like character education, citizenship, personal responsibility, things like that, goal setting, conflict resolution, study skills, social skills, diversity, accepting differences, career awareness and exploration, learning styles, safety, course registration at the middle school and the high school level, post-secondary information, transition at the different levels, so 5th grade going into 6th grade, 8th grade going into 9th grade, and our 12th graders going out into college, tech school, work, and also assessment.
Okay, and then the second one under that is the individual student planning, and we're supporting them academically, helping them set goals, course selection. So again, like Ellen said, and we're coming up on that pretty soon. The 9th graders are going to be, some of them got the course selection sheet sent
here, there's a lot of counselors in general in Wisconsin. So you connect that way. We just pulled up some highlights for school counseling program at Weyauwega Fremont. We have a program called Project Backpack that we're both highly involved in, which is kind of a unique feeding program that is supported by the community churches. What they do is they send food-filled backpacks home with students that may need them on the weekend. And we make sure that we keep in touch with those students and families to get those delivered out. I also advise the Weyauwega Student Council at the elementary level.
Then Focus on Your Future Day was held in November. It's something that we've been doing for the last several years. That was where they took, the 9th graders took the Explore, 10th graders took the Plan test, the juniors took the Practice ACT, and then the seniors had a senior seminar where we had guest speakers come in about different career options and, different tools that they might need to be successful or be aware of after they graduate from high school. So that was part of that, and we had a full day. We also, Ellen and I both had, we were able to mix the middle school and the high school in a little bit and bring in some presenters on the healthy relationships and what appropriate relationships kind of look like and tied it in with bullying. And then we also had